it's like a dream of mine to completely blow out and like have to restructure my knee.
We've communicated and said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion.
Cindy! The TV's leaking!
McLovin?
Yeah. Today is Thomas Cup's birthday, and this is Project X. Yo.
You could speak, boy. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
How was your weekend? How was your weekend, Kip?
Weekend was good. We shot a really fun production on the weekend.
We did, yeah.
We went up against a McMaster kicker, and I felt like I held my own. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but
You were pretty good.
it was fun as hell. And wearing pads for the first time, I feel like they should league me. So
Well, you're still draft eligible. That's what we always say.
I am still draft eligible. And a lot of teams need kickers. The Rams cut Brett Maher, so I'm
Well, you
hoping.
better get your applications in. We actually do have a former CFL player here with us today. We have some guests today. We have two gentlemen with us today. One of which, entrepreneur by nature, also works at CIBC. If you need some of your banking done, go to CIBC and see this guy, co-founder of Celsius Fits. And to give you a rundown of Celsius Fits, it's a community that unites Canadian culture through the intersection of fashion, sports, and culture. We celebrate diverse voices through creating content and storytelling that connects athletes, creatives, and fashion. The other co-founder, or one of the other co-founders, is here today. He's the creative director. One of the more creative gentlemen I know who, anytime I'm on TikTok, on my For You page, one of his is popping up. So very grateful to be joined today by Dante Henry and Fredo Alfred Green. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you.
How are you guys?
I'm all right.
Are you nervous?
No, not nervous, but I haven't did a sound check yet. I don't know what my voice sounds like, so I'm gonna test a few voices here.
Can you hear it in your headphones?
A little bit, just a tad.
You sound good.
Oh, okay.
You
Thanks.
sound like you could be like an audiobook author.
Audiobook.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of book I'm audioing.
He doesn't read books.
No? Do you read books, Dante?
Do you want the answer I give people or the true answer?
Run me through both.
Okay. My favorite book's The Alchemist.
Oh, okay. Who wrote that one?
Paulo. I don't know the last name.
So is it really your favorite book?
I just like the idea of the book,
You like the concept of being a reader, but not necessarily reading itself.
So listen, I have, and Fredo can actually allude to this, my attention span is very short and limited.
Okay.
So when I read books, it's really hard for me to sit in one place and go through each page. And so what I find a better resource is YouTube. And basically when people discuss books, I'm a book club guy,
Okay. But in book clubs you read the book and then you talk about the book. So wait, are you saying you go to YouTube and you like listen to like a summary of the book?
Yeah, I get like the key points of the book and what I should learn from the book.
So like you spark notes the book
Spark
essentially.
notes.
On YouTube,
I'm a spark noker.
Okay, so you're not a bookworm.
No, I'm more of a podcast guy actually, or audiobook.
Okay, in terms of podcasts, what kind of podcasts do you typically listen to?
Sports business.
Is that the name of the podcast?
No, like sports business, like everything in sports business, whether that be like Rich Kleiman, Rich Paul. Like my idol is actually Maverick Carter. So
okay.
Like, any Maverick Carter interviews, I'm dialed in and stuff like that. So for me, I typically search of the person that like I'm investing in that week. That's how I go about it.
When you say the person you're investing in that week, like every week, do you kind of look at a different sports business person and kind of find out more about their story?
Yep, that is it.
And is that kind of how you started building on Celsius?
Celsius has a few components to it, but I would say, yeah, like you're spot on with that. I guess
Nice
for me, yeah, it was a great one.
I do this. That's what I do.
For me, as Alfred knows, like a big inspiration to me is Spring Hill. Everything they're doing with Maverick Carter, LeBron James, and kind of in the advertisement space. yeah, it's been a big inspiration to me and CF Media.
So what is sorry, what's it called?
Spring Hill.
Spring Hill. What does Spring Hill do?
Spring Hill Entertainment. So, do you know who Maverick Carter is?
I definitely know the name Maverick Carter. If I
Yeah, it's like Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, and LeBron is like
I feel like Rich Paul gets all like the, you know,
Maverick Carter.
the way.
like the front page. Like he's like
Yeah, and the Maverick Carter's in the background pulling all the strings.
Strings.
Yeah.
Oh, like the producer.
Yeah, he's the producer.
He's the one who
he like
puts it all
produces.
together.
Yeah, and like he did the what show did LeBron? The movie did LeBron just do? I didn't think it was that good.
I
I
don't
tell you, he redid the Jordan movie.
Oh, Space Jam?
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Space Jam 2? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
apparently it was not all that great.
I mean,
They nerfed Lola Bunny.
Did they?
Yeah, she doesn't look exactly like she did in the first one, and a lot of people are pissed off about that.
Why? How did she look in the first one, Kit? Tell the class.
I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say it was nerfed. That's all
Okay.
you need to know.
nerfed.
I didn't
Lola
watch the second
Bunny.
Space Jam, though.
No,
I don't think it was for us anyways, you know? So
but different gen.
different gen.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
it's 2023. Everything's going to get,
So
you know.
those are the guys who have like 100 snap streaks, eh? That's who it's for.
Yeah, whatever, buddy.
We were talking just before
Hey,
the break.
it's
You just,
okay, it's
well, you
okay,
know,
man.
you just ended your biggest snap streak. You were saying.
It's okay, man. Like,
What was the streak though? You don't have to tell us about any details, but what
it was like 800. It was the only streak I've ever
Millennium
had,
stuff.
bro? That's like 2.5 years of snaps. That's like,
890. I was trying to get to 1,000, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
how did it end?
Just ended, boy.
Bro, you sound like you're born in like 04.
Nah, man. I honestly, you know what? I don't even want to delve into this, but it was just I was like, you know what? Let me just get to 1,000, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like just something to say, you know, to your kids one day. It's like, oh, I had 1,000 snap streak when Snapchat was.
I
like,
wonder
a
what
thing.
your screen time is at.
Oh, you don't even want to know, but that's
I-
because I work on my phone all day. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So a lot of your stuff, like in terms of work, a lot of like social media upkeep. I know that you're in charge of the Celsius Fits Instagram account, correct?
I mean, for the most part, yeah. For the most part, yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's him.
like
Yeah.
I'm the one who presses send on everything. So yeah.
K. But before he takes all the credit, which he deserves, rightfully deserves,
Okay.
I tried, and every time I did it, I was wrong. So it wasn't meant for me. He's like, yo, you didn't include this, you didn't do this. So I was just like, you know what? I'll just stick to what I'm good at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a tall task. I won't lie. It's a tall task.
Does it bother you that you have to be on your phone so much?
Yes, honestly, like I thought about deleting Instagram, you know, a couple of times, and I was like, if I delete Instagram, the brand goes. So, yeah, like it's annoying, but you know, at some point, you know, you work until you get other people to do that for you. So, that's the goal.
Are you at a point where you're close to that, where you can have somebody else run the socials? Like where Celsius where it started, how far along have you come now?
So you want us to start it from the top?
Yeah,
And then, like kind of
Yeah, get the
Okay.
How we came up with it.
get the rundown. Yeah,
let's
the
let's
origin
do this.
story.
Let's do this. So, basically, me and Fredo, know each other from school. And one
Couple
of my
athletes.
a couple athletes, a couple Golden Hawks.
Yeah, it's great to be.
What's Golden Hawk? Is that Laurier?
Laurier.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great to be.
Okay.
So basically, one of my friends, shout out Raheem, hit me up. He had an idea to make like I think it was a League Fits. That was originally the plan, a League Fits, but like just Canada. So I said to him, I know the right person to bring into this team. Raheem lives in Canada and the U.S., but majority of his time is spent down south. So that's when Alfred came in the picture. When Alfred came into the picture, we were talking about an idea, and it didn't really stick to us. Like, he wasn't sold. And I would, like, basically, he left the idea to me and Fredo. When he left the idea to me and Fredo, that's when we found different reference points of influence. And I think that's a key point for anybody along their creative journey, finding pieces and people in society that are doing what you're doing and how to evolve that or kind of get inspiration from what they're doing. And I think that's what we did. Like Complex Canada was something, and I kind of had it out for Uninterrupted personally, just because like that's a company, like I said, love Maverick Carter, Uninterrupted, they have Canada. I tried applying like 5-6 times, didn't get accepted. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make something that goes up against them. So that's kind of what I did with Fredo. Fredo is somebody who can take an apple and he makes apple pie. Like, he's one of those guys. So we brought him on board, and the focus was sports. Then we saw how big fashion intersected with sports, and I think this is when all the ideas started to click. And so basically we started off by just posting fits. That's honestly what it started at. Then we realized that Canadian brands weren't getting enough attention. Do you have a question?
No, keep going. This is just how my hand is.
Your hand was okay.
I'm not going to interrupt your flow.
Okay, no worries. So we realized that Canadian brands weren't getting attention. There was a lot of designers that myself and Fredo knew, and we're like, how do we put these guys on the map? Honestly, the big game changer, and throughout this whole creative process, we probably were close to throwing in the rag probably around 6-8 times, and I think that's just part of everybody's creative journey.
And this is how deep into the process?
This is like 3 months into the process, because like we're not seeing any movement. Like, it's very stale. But then shout out Side Door, which is another inspiration. Like I said, you got to have those inspirations, those sparks that keep you going. And what Side Door's doing in Toronto and actually just in the music scene in North America is unbelievable. For those who don't know, Side Door is like a magazine music publication that focuses on culture. One of my buddies that I used to play soccer with back at TFC Academy, Luca Dicchio, is one of the co-founders. And we came up with an idea to launch. Essentially, it was just like, I think it was like, what was it, top 10?
Yeah, the
50?
brands to look out for in 2023.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So we dropped that, and then this is at the verge where I honestly didn't want anything to do with Celsius.
Okay.
Once we dropped that, a lot of things changed.
Yeah.
Because this guy, like, we were going out in person, people were like, where's my brand? Like, why isn't it on the list? And then that was like the energy where I was like, okay, like, you know what? This is more than what we're building. And then Luca and other people and other publications were like, yo, like, we really like what you're doing. So that was kind of when things started. The little snow. Let's say we're building a snowman. It's like the little first snowball.
Yeah,
we're rolling.
The base.
The base.
Yeah, the base of the snowman.
And then I'll pass it over to Fredo, because I feel like I've just been talking too much.
That's okay. You go, Fredo, Alfred, Lil Bro, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, chill out, man. But yeah, so I mean, from there it was really crazy because we started to see like the effect it had on just the public or the Toronto people coming up to us, or I'll introduce myself to people and they're like, oh, okay, nice to meet you, and then I'll say, yo, I run Celsius, or they'll be like, whoa, oh, you're Celsius? And when that started happening, even though people weren't following us, it's just the fact that people, were talking about us. We're getting into those circles. We kind of saw like something that was there for the taking, and basically like that's what we kind of now we wanted to just keep on growing on that, and that's where we kind of. When Dante was doing the interviews and whatnot, we had, we wanted to interview creatives. And,
we're going there.
Yeah, we wanted to interview creatives and athletes, and just give people that storytelling or that ability to talk about themselves that we never got to see in general. Like a great example is like we did a photo shoot with Brandon Clark. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
He's an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he told our photographer, he's like, I've never done anything like this before. I'm like, you're in the NBA, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you mean you haven't done a photo shoot?
Like,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of premature stuff in the media landscape across Canada, and I think that's kind of what we kind of pivoted off of. And like what Fredo's saying, like I asked him, I said, I don't want to interview. Like, this is not me. I don't want to do it. He forced me. I started watching Speedy Mormon, or whatever his name is. Actually, great interviewer, and anybody who wants to get into that, I suggest you watch him. And honestly, I got better throughout the process, but it still wasn't me. And what I'm kind of talking about here is kind of doing stuff to build your brand or build your business until you find someone else to replace you and someone to build a team around. So I just wanted to point that out, because I think that's a key point in people's creative, entrepreneurial journey, that you're going to have to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to have to do things you don't want to do until you start to, like you said, find the people that are going to be able to do that stuff. And I know that you guys are at a point where you started to find those people. You have Kyle who does a segment. I also do. I also do. I am also a part of. I also have a show.
Yeah.
But how do you go about finding those people, finding the right person, knowing that, okay, this person, there's going to be a show that this person can do for us. Like, Kyle's going to be able to bring this aspect to our show. Sam's going to be able to bring this aspect. How do you find those people? Dante, when do you decide, like, okay, it's time to get this person on board?
So, I think I know. Like, I'm a man of ideas. Me and Fredo, we have a lot of ideas. There's a lot of phone calls that we just have ideas. And I think what it was for me, like, honestly, I tell people all this time, I don't really care for fashion. I love sports. I don't care for fashion.
I can tell by how you dress, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
But I think what I get adrenaline off of is helping people, and giving people access to my network, because I feel like I have connections to some individuals that some people would like to get in contact with, or I can get in contact with people that people want to get in contact with, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like a connector. That's like my skill in life. Like, I'm just a connector.
Right.
Yeah. So Kyle's actually a funny story because Kyle was an interview that I did that I once again did not want to do. When I did the interview, it was like I was getting interviewed by Kyle, so it was no longer my show. It was Kyle's show. And then I asked Kyle, like, yo, like, do you want to like become an interviewer on the show and have your own segment? He denied it the first time, which obviously kind of hurt, but at the end of the day, you're at the growing stages of your career or whatever you're trying to pursue, right? So it was like, okay, whatever, we'll just keep on moving. And at the end of the day, it made great content. Like, we got a couple names in there, like a couple big names that he was shouting out along his journey. And it's crazy how life works, because we kind of went throughout our process, and then I think it was like maybe May or June, we get a call one day, or even a message, I think it was, and Kyle was basically like, yo, like, remember that idea you had? Like, I'm open to it. And honestly, it was one of the best calls or texts I ever got in my life, because that's when I knew I was done interviewing. And I knew I had somebody who I can help and we can help push forward, because I think to give people clear knowledge, like, yeah, our focus is sports and fashion, but one thing that me and Fredo kind of were driving factor of CF Media is that we kind of want it to be a pedestal. We know that people are going to move on. They're going to move on to better and greater things. But while they are at their foundation and building out their foundation, can we help them and be that almost that elevator for them? And I think that was the first opportunity that we got to do that. Put Kyle in rooms and make him conduct interviews that was not your traditional interview.
So almost like challenge him in a sense as well.
Yeah.
Exactly, because he's getting outside of his comfort zone. Because to give a brief knowledge on Kyle was working for Sportsnet at the time. And obviously when you're in those environments, the way you conduct an interview and go about an interview is completely different than conducting an interview with a small company, I would say, who's just starting off, because we're open to ideas. We don't have a structure that we go off of or a format, right? We're open to ideas and how we can implement that and blend it into that structure that we are building out, right? So Kyle provided that opportunity. And then with yourself, I honestly have no credit for you. It's all this mastermind over here, Fredo. Because when he came to me and he's like, oh, I have an idea for Sam. And he's like, have you ever watched Caleb Presley? I'm like, yeah, I've watched Caleb Presley. Like, it's funny. His interviews are like pretty hilarious. He's like, we want to do the same with Sam. I wasn't sold at the beginning. I'm not afraid to admit that. However, as the time grew, ideas grew, we talked to you, we met you in person. I think that's what changed everything for me when I met you in person, because I knew Kyle. I didn't know you. So it was like, oh, like that energy that you had and that almost that bite and that appetite to basically get started to work. And I think we made a promise to you. We're like, we're going to get you an athlete to do an interview with you. And we got that in like 2 months' time. So that was kind of a happy moment, kind of full circle moment. And honestly, the greatest thing about it, like with yourself, is like I don't even mean to like just be complimenting you
Gas
right
me
now.
up on my own show right now. Damn.
But you're someone who, honestly, you have no boundaries. And when we posted the penny, I think that was an eye opener. I think we got about 5 to 10 inquiries alone, just about who you are, what's the show about, and people wanting to be on the show. So that basically was a realization to us that we're pushing new boundaries. And yeah, kudos to you.
Okay, wow, thanks. When you're looking like in terms of having one show for Kyle, another show for me, are you at a point where you're like, okay, how many other shows can we add, or do you want to build the 2 that you have right now and make them as big as possible? I guess this is also a personal inquiry.
Are you getting jealous?
No, I'm not getting jealous. I just want to know like what's like in terms of the Celsius, the future of Celsius.
We're adding another girlfriend to the tree.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
You talk
joking.
about that. Oh, you know. Okay, you're
Completely joking.
Nah.
Honestly, I'll start off and Fredo can finish it. So I think even right now we've just been regrouping. Like a lot of people ask me, like Dante, like what's up with CF, like what's going on. Just taking time. Honestly, being on set throughout the summer. Obviously, money's another situation in its own.
Yeah.
We thought it would be best to invest in the 2 talents at hand and kind of focus on growing and nurturing those 2 before looking at other opportunities. Not saying other opportunities haven't been presented. We just don't think it's the right time. So right now it's just about building Kyle and Sam as basically pillars of CF Media and getting our blogging and kind of the interview segment where it's more written and photography going in a
right.
smoother pace before adding more. Because I think the thing is with us is like, and with many creatives, you have too many ideas, and ideas are great, but ideas can also be your worst enemies because it's like you're not on a straight path. Because as much as you do think you are, you have an idea to make something better. And obviously those ideas could be great, right? But I think the biggest thing that people struggle with in life is execution.
Yeah, that's funny. Actually, I was talking to Kit about that earlier today. We were talking about how we have so many different ideas, and we want to do this. I want to write this script. I want to do this video. I want to do that video. It's like when you like, it's great to have a lot of ideas, but Kit was saying that those can all like cloud over each other, and you want to be able to focus on one that's going to be your baby and be able to execute that properly at a proper pace with the proper steps. What would you say is like your baby right now? Is it more video content? Is it the blogging? Is it Celsius as a brand total? Like, do you need more like bodies on board to one person handles this section of the site, one like the blogs, one person handles all the video stuff?
I would say like we definitely do need more hands. We definitely do need more hands on deck because where we're at right now is just like, you know, especially for me, like you said, I'm creative directing, and then I'm also putting together all these productions. I'm sourcing, I'm finding, who works well with what, I'm trying to match up our production team with, timing and all that stuff. So, but also I have to, post content on the page, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely, we're at a point where we need more hands, but also it's just like, we definitely are focusing on, first of all, strengthening, Sam and Kyle's show. And then also we have to, try to add an element that is a little less cost effective or cost too much for us, like a little less expensive. So, interviews and those articles that we do, I definitely think those are things that we are going to, start pushing a little bit more, especially when we launch our website.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think you made a great point about the website launch as well. I think that's going to be a key ingredient. And I think that we're at the point where we're trying to kind of just let that brand identity be known before we push forward. I feel like there's a lot of people who are kind of confused on what we're trying to execute.
Okay.
And confusion's fine. I love confusion. But I think we're at the time where we're just trying to execute now. Execute to the point where you kind of not prove doubters wrong, but you're kind of everything through and through, they know it's your brand. It's like kind of like if you look at an advertisement sometimes, and I catch myself, I'm like, oh, that's like so Nike.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it might not even be
like
Nike.
the identity's there.
Yeah, it might not
Yeah.
even be Nike. You're just looking at it and you're like, whoa, like that's so Nike. And like Adidem's kind of doing that.
Yeah, I was about to
Adidem
say
is
that.
doing that. Like you
Adidem
look
is
at
the
them
one.
and you're like, wow, like, you know, that's Adidem. Like,
And-
you know?
Adidem started. It's a Toronto brand, correct?
Yeah, they're from Brampton. They hail from Brampton, but of course it's like it's a Toronto based brand.
Right.
But yeah, another man, I will say this: like Adidem is definitely one of those people who've also inspired us to continue because their branding of their stuff is just so precise. It's like you feel what they're making every single time, and so that's kind of something that we want to have with our brand as well. Even though we're making a fashion publication and it's very vast what we're trying to do, but we want every time you see our stuff is like, you know what you're watching. Like we don't have to see a logo, you just know what you're watching. So that's a type of attention to detail that we're really focused on right now. And like, yeah, you're gonna see in the next few months, like a lot of stuff is gonna come out and it's gonna look real flavorful.
To a point where you're going to be able to like distinguish yourself from competition, like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. But honestly, like, yeah, it's competition, but I don't even see competition. Like,
Okay.
it's one of those where honestly, there's so many great publications doing so many great things in society in Toronto that just provides an opportunity for others to think different and execute differently.
Yeah.
Which you have to look at it from different angles because I don't know, like a part of me is like, yeah, it's competition. But if you look at it as competition, you might only see it from their angle of execution, right? But if you flip it and you're like, okay, they did it from this angle, but how can we not only benefit ourselves, but also benefit the person that we're doing work with or the company we're doing work with? Or what is the message of that person or of that company? And how do we get it through the line?
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense. I was kind of rambling.
I'm still digesting that one,
Yeah. Honestly,
but it made sense. I got it. Yeah.
honestly, I'll piggyback onto what Dante was saying. I mean, we don't really see anyone as competition. I mean, personally, I do, but that's just my nature. I'm a football player, man. I'm a dog.
CFL player, BC
I'm a
Lions.
dog. Yeah. So, there obviously there's competition, and they're out there for not technically, but just to inspire the work, but also it's just a thing of like, it just legitimizes the space, the more people doing something similar, it's just more eyes in that section or that sector, I should say. So I definitely believe that, the things that people are doing out there is just stuff that is inspiring us to do greater things. And so I just, I look forward every time when I see someone doing something better than they were doing before, and now I want to do greater things. So, and I think between me and Dante is like, and our other partners, is just we just have a greater vision for something that is, even the stuff that you see that we're doing right now, our vision is way beyond that. Like, we want to like revolutionize Canadian media. So, as a whole. So,
Sorry to cut you off,
No,
but I
that's fine.
think you, like Sam, at the top of the hour, you kind of said like a child or like a baby or something about that as a business. And I think a lot of people have to see business more in the scope of that, because you got to grow that baby, grow that kid to one day walk alone. And I feel like a lot of business owners and a lot of people don't know that it's okay. You can let go. And it's going to come to a day where I hope to let go. And you are sitting in the background, and maybe we're on to our different venture. And you see that with a lot of people, like even with Nelk. Think about Jesse. Jesse went on and did his own thing. He let the baby fly. It wasn't for him, and now he's doing what he's doing. And even like Jeff Bezos, like, look at me, he left Amazon. You know, it happens, right?
He's doing okay. I'd say.
I think, I think he's doing all right.
Elon left PayPal. He made a whole bunch of other stuff.
I'm reading his biography right now.
The book?
Yeah.
I started it.
Yeah. How far into it are you?
I didn't finish. I just said I started it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I started it too. I didn't finish it.
I think I finished at the part in PayPal.
Okay.
The PayPal part.
Yeah.
Shadow Queen
Honestly, it just got dry. To me, it got dry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It picks up when it gets more into like, it starts to talk about, at the beginning, he talks a lot about his family life growing up.
Yeah.
And his father was like pretty horrible to him.
Yeah.
And like really mentally scarred him.
Yeah.
And that kind of translated into his adult life. Like there are some chapters where some of his previous wives are talking about how when Elon would talk about his childhood, he would just completely like black out and like then have a mental breakdown and start saying stuff that his father used to say to him.
Crazy.
And it would scare like his wife at the time. But it's a very, very good read so far. Like he is such a unique
individual.
It's unbelievable. He like the risk taking abilities that I couldn't imagine.
See, that's how I felt about the David Beckham documentary on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't watched that. I've seen
That's
snippets.
how I felt about the David Beckham
That's
documentary.
a great documentary.
Yeah.
It's probably the best documentary
on
I've seen.
Netflix.
Not the best, but
It's honestly the best
it's up
for
there.
me.
It's up
It's the
there
best for
with
me.
like the Michael Jordan one. It's right there, neck and neck.
I think the thing is about Bex is that you don't really realize how much of a revolutionary person he was until you kind of dialed into the doc.
Revolutionary in what?
Like
what venture? Like
he changed soccer.
Everything.
He changed soccer as a whole.
So for instance, like fashion wise, some of his fits that he was wearing in like the 2000s are fits you can wear nowadays. I understand fashion is something that's revolving, but he was like one of those guys that, put it like this, he paved the way for someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yep.
And you wouldn't even think that. But at Manchester United at the time, sorry, I'm a soccer head, for Sir Alex Ferguson only allowed black boots. And he's somebody who kind of like, no, I'm going to express myself and wear the boots I want to wear. And obviously that led to like boot deals and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, honestly, you just see how he revolutionized the whole of soccer. And even like something as simple as like a world tour to the south of Asia. Like that's something that I don't know, like don't quote me if it stems from him, but he's one of the first to like when you go to Asia, everyone didn't care about Real Madrid. They cared about David Beckham.
Okay.
So it's dope. I would say take it.
It's definitely on my watch list.
Yeah, you definitely need to watch it, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. And honestly, I didn't know how much impact he just had on, soccer in general. Just like how like he was the English captain and like even
like MLS.
Like he's the one. He basically made MLS what it is today. Like
How?
He's the first one.
He's the first. So DP, designated player.
Yeah.
It's like a rule in MLS that you can only have 3 on the team.
Okay.
David Beckham is the first DP. So it's called a DP rule, but people who like been around the game call it the David Beckham rule.
Okay.
So basically, it was like the league helping LA Galaxy source funds to bring David Beckham to North America. Because in return, they knew jersey sales and like just the branding of the league would change with someone of that presence in that position. And what they did was offer him a club at the end of his contract.
Like one of the teams.
No, he got to pick a destination.
Oh, to play at.
No.
To
own a team.
Oh.
And that's where Inter Miami comes from.
And Messi.
David Beckham made Messi is what you're trying to say. That's how it all works out.
He made Messi. He's the reason why Messi has 8 Ballon d'Ors.
Don't let your Latinos hear that.
He's the one. David Beckham is the owner of Lionel Messi.
Whoa.
That was aggressive.
Aggressive. Yeah. Okay.
I went to Miami recently.
Same.
Really?
Not recently, but keep going.
Well, how recent?
Like 5 months ago.
Oh, that's the reason. I would consider that recent. I would consider anything that's like pushing it. Like maybe 6 months is recent.
Maybe it was in March.
Sam.
Yeah.
¿Tú hablas español?
Nah. Nah. I know that La Hacienda means the ranch. That's all I know. Because when I was in Mexico, the nightclub was called La Hacienda, and we'd always go to La Hacienda. Anyway, I was in Miami, and my dad and I went for a Dolphins and Giants game. The Giants lost. And I remember the day that Messi signed, was it signed or traded? He signed in Miami, right? I immediately looked at ticket prices for that weekend, like for the home game that weekend. And this was like maybe 10 minutes after the news broke. It was still like $58 for a ticket. And then I looked a few hours later, and it was like upwards of $300 for a ticket. So I that was the biggest bag I ever fumbled by not buying tickets for a game that weekend. A, possibly going, but only paying like 58 whatever dollars for tickets, or just like reselling them.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't realize, like, besides football, sports is young in like North America, especially Canada.
You say football, do you mean North American or?
I meant like NFL football.
Okay, yeah.
North American. But I think sports in Canada, which we can kind of relay that back to like what we're talking about, sports media, sports marketing. I think that's why there's still a lot of room for growth. If you think about soccer, we just got our first professional league like 5-6 years ago. You think about basketball, the CEBL, I think it's running its second or third year. It's a summer league, but still, it's like our first professional league. So
Is that the one J. Cole played in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
He might be the David Beckham of CBL.
honestly, but yeah,
Imagine.
it's going to be interesting times for us, to be honest, to see the growth of everything. World Cup coming here in 2026. That's going to be a historic event all around. And I think, like there's just a lot of room for sports in this country. And we just started with men's. And I think the real trendsetters, and you can quote this from me, are women. I think women's sports, when it comes to impact, is probably this generation. Actually, not probably. It's going to be more impactful than men's sports for the next generations to come. 100%.
Any sports in particular that you think will
Basketball.
be driving that? Yeah, that's what
Women basketball.
Yeah.
Women basketball. Like, I think
Shout out Hoop Queens.
Hoop Queens, yeah.
Shout out Hoop Queen, shout out M.
Shout out
Penny.
Penny.
Shout out, yeah, but
Shout out, what was the dog's name?
Fiji.
Shout out Fiji. Shout out Fiji.
Yeah. But yeah.
How did you? So you said you are the connector. How do you? You're shaking your head, Alfred, little brother.
Stop saying that. But ask your question.
How do you line up athletes like Penny, like like any other athlete that you have like in the pipeline and stuff like that? People you've gotten for Kyle. How do you go about getting them?
So Penny wasn't me. It was Fredo. But it was my idea.
My bad.
His idea. It was a joint idea.
It was
I
a
like to
joint
say.
idea.
Yes,
We've always said it.
Yeah,
We've always said it's a
a joint
joint
idea.
idea.
I
Okay.
think in terms of that, I've been blessed and fortunate throughout my life. First off, I went to Bill Crothers, which is a school full of athletes. And I was lucky to cross paths with some athletes at Bill Crothers. I played for Toronto FC Academy. I don't want to keep on talking about myself, but
You're more than welcome to. You are
He's
the
sick.
guest.
He's sick.
I
Yeah?
don't like talking about
Sick.
myself. But anyways, like I'm trying to say, I built my network through that, and just basically finding point of references to touch points for these athletes. So basically, it's like for an athlete that we might look at from the fashion sense, right? That might be the attractor of their followers and their engagement. But what do they want people to know? What do they want to be known for?
Yeah.
Because fashion, everybody will get a fashion deal, and that's not really, you can't really monetize that as much nowadays as you once could, right? So it's like, what do you want to be known for after your career? So we can use fashion as that intersection to start the conversation, but how are we going to end the conversation? And I think those are the touch points that we look for to tell stories through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm a piggyback on what he's saying. It's just like, so like someone like I'll use just a
Don't
random
give
person.
away any
I'm not
of the
gonna.
things
I'm,
involved.
I'm just gonna use anyone. I'm just gonna use anyone. Like we'll have a conversation with someone about fashion, and then the conversation will grow from there. And then
Right.
there's something that we can do moving forward that will also open the eyes to, people that didn't know they didn't know. So, yeah, that's basically how we do it. But a lot of Dante's connections, again, like Sorelli, he went to school with. You know what I'm saying? So that's our next upcoming episode. Did I say too much?
No, you're good.
Okay.
We're good.
But yeah, that's our next upcoming episode is you and Sorelli. And
Ice
that's,
hockey player.
Yeah, ice hockey player. Shout out Jay Booth, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of Dante's connections is just like, Dante knows a lot of people. I don't even know how, man. It's just every day he's telling me about this person who plays for this team in Europe and this person, and it's all over the
I
place.
like sports.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah. Maybe you should have come here for sport media then.
Honestly, it was just like I wasn't the smartest kid in high school.
We're not smart in this program.
I mean,
Just
GPA would look kind of high when I was trying to get in.
Oh,
And,
yeah?
Laurier, they said, come on over.
We got room for you?
We got room for you. So
Yeah.
I
Yo.
took that up.
I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I keep hitting this. Like, I don't know if I have like super sensitive mic over here, but
Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
but so like who's some people that you want to see on the show?
It like,
Which show?
yeah, like people that I want to
Interview.
or but like also like for Kyle, like someone that Kyle could do as well.
Oh
or
yeah,
just
you
me in
shit.
particular.
Shucks, yeah, anyone. Anyone. Like, so who do you want to see on CF Media?
And let me piggyback off that.
Y'all are piggybacking off each other all
We
day.
just piggyback
Yeah.
it. That's what we do though.
True.
Pause.
It doesn't have to stay within the realms of sports
Yeah,
and
anyone.
fashion. I just want to know, who would you like to see?
Oh, it doesn't have to say in sports or
Yeah,
fashion.
let's go call outs right
But
now. man.
Canadian.
Canadian.
Like
most-
Toronto, ideally.
Canada.
Yeah, like preferably. Let's do
Oh,
some
man.
call outs.
Unless you want to speak French.
I can speak French, but I could hold a conversation for a whole hour with a French athlete, but it would be funny me trying to do that. Like, which could be actually good for a bit because my French is good, but like I would be speaking like franglais, like I'd be doing French and English words all at once. So getting somebody like Poulain, the female hockey player, that could be funny if I'm trying to keep up in French with her the whole time.
Okay, just at her when you drop this.
Okay.
Yeah, let's drop.
In terms
do
of-
some call outs, man.
In terms of other people, I think you look at the two guys, Jack and Nick doing Shirley. Those guys are like only on the rise
Yeah.
from here on out.
Shout out Jack and
Nick. They're young guys too, dude. They're like 21 or 20.
Yeah,
like they're
it was-
in that age.
Yeah,
In that range.
yeah. When we talked to them, I thought they were like your age at least, but you're even way older than them. You know,
I'm 24. I'm not way older.
you're 24. They're like 21.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
Grady Dick would be cool. Being able to talk to him.
Shout out Grady Dick.
I'm just thinking about sports people now, though.
Yeah, honestly,
Shout out Drew Smoothie.
yeah.
The two, and those two comedians, Mark Anthony
That'd be
and
hilarious.
Austin Alexander, those are two guys on the rise. Jack Innanen is another Toronto creator on the rise. I really enjoy speaking to creators.
Noted.
Like if you look at the history of the show, I've had Moose, I've had this girl Eden. She's an actress. It's typically people who are in the creative kind of landscape. That's more where I enjoy being, but I also I want to interview a plumber one day or like an electrician.
And I think that could be hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
And I think they need that content as much as you need that content.
Yeah, like Theo Vaughn does that. Theo Vaughn interviewed like a police officer. He interviewed a garbage man, like stuff like that.
I honestly think like we're getting to that point too where we're seeing like I don't want to say we're seeing no boundaries because obviously there's boundaries.
Yeah, we're still
but
there.
We're still
the
within
bounds.
boundaries, but it's like how can we get like a plumber to like play 21 with you?
Yeah, and the plumber's like, you want me to be on your show?
Yeah, like,
But
you
then-
know.
yeah,
but
that'd be
like I
fun.
think that'd be so funny and be
Yeah.
like jokes, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that was pretty cool. And what would you say? What would you like your legacy to be?
Oh wow.
Yeah, we hitting the hard hitters now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what do I want to be remembered for? Or
Yeah, like in terms, first of all, what's your dream job? Like dream, like media, like have your own platform, or is it like your own show? And then, like, what do you want to be remembered for? Like, what when people watch Bird's Eye View and people watch Birdcore and other stuff you're doing, like, what's the similar what's the one thing that aligns throughout that kind of is for like making that legacy?
Unique sense of creativity. I want to be, like, in terms of my legacy, well, what I want to do is I want to write, direct, produce, act. I want to build a show from the ground up and see every aspect of it and how it's done.
Dope.
But I want to do it in a way, like, I want what I do creatively to be different and unique, where people are like, wait, how did he think to do it that way? Wait, why did he choose to say that? I just want to be able to express my creativity through many different avenues, which is why I do all the stuff I do, which is why I have a talk show, which is why I have Bird's Eye View, which is why I post skits on TikTok and Instagram. I like doing a lot.
No, which is very good. I commend you for that, because I always tell myself, like, even with like CF Media, like, I know it'll be fine, but if whatever happens to it, I don't never want to be that dad where I'm driving in the car one day and my kids have an idea. Oh, I had that idea too. It's good to say you at least gave it a shot. Yeah, and one of my most favorite quotes is from A$AP Rocky, where he says, "Why are you hating on somebody for trying?" Yeah, I've gotten to a point where I don't care what people think of my content. I don't care about the likes. I don't care about the comments. I don't care about the views. I care about putting out work that I am proud of and that I enjoyed making throughout the whole process. And I think I owe a lot of that confidence in that to Rick Rubin, the music producer. I read his book, and a lot of it talked about be authentically you in your creativity. Honestly, I think that's like a big touch point, because even for me, I know you talked about like my job life, but I hate wearing a suit every day. I think it kind of screws up my creativity.
You almost swore there, right?
You saw the bite.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean though. I don't want to be a 9-to-5er. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
man.
I'll leave, eh? Okay.
Well, I mean, we do have to wrap up. We got like 45 seconds before we're out of studio here. Anything you guys want to shout out? Any work you got coming up? Anything you want to say? You have like 40 seconds.
I got some music videos coming out with my artists that I work with closely, Jazz Valentino and Vidal. Some big artists that will be out here popping soon, and you guys will love the work that we do. Also, some CF, stuff dropping as well. Interviews on the way, everything on the way. The boys in the building. Yeah, you already know CF Media. Boom, 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 bow, bow.
At Celsius Fits on Instagram or CelsiusFits.com. .com or .ca?
.com.
Okay.
CA. You got the CA.
All right. We'll see you next week on Birdcore. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye. It's like a dream of mine to completely blow out and have to restructure my knee.
We've communicated and said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion.
Cindy? The TV's leaking.
McLovin?
Yeah. Today is Thomas Cub's birthday, and this is Project X. Yo.